institution? Is it based on students? Is it based on an annual fee? Is it membership based? How is it defined?
Sure, it's a great question. It's a flat rate. What I presented to you today is actually very inexpensive, and we actually put together some council pricing specific to this meeting that's going to hold until the end of November. And there's a pricing sheet inside every one of the black folders you have. It's significantly discounted, and with this organization, it's going to depend on the number of organizations that finalize by the end of November. I think that's what we have the offer extended to. So the rate of what you've seen today is $10,000 per year. It covers the entire network, so it's going to cover the entire school. It's going to cover the entire alumni base, admitted students, faculty members. In addition to that, there are value-added there are services that we provide as well. Social media services. Some schools don't necessarily have the resources or the time to create their own social media presence. We can actually provide that as well, and have included that in our offering to CCSAO. So the package,
irrespective of size, it's $10,000 annually.
Correct. Correct. And if we're dealing with a very small school, I know we deal with a professional school, Valparaiso Law School, which is I think about 500 students. So obviously we had to change that a little bit and scale it, but. So yes, that is correct. So it's $10,000 annually. The package that you have before you, I think, goes, depending on the number of schools, goes down pretty significantly. And it does include the services that I mentioned. So we will actually come into a school, set up your departments with Twitter feeds, with Facebook pages, and even a centralized presence if you don't have it, and link all of those accounts to regroup.
So when it says number of members, you mean institutional members?
Yes, ma'am. Institutional members from CCSAO, from the SUNY Community College System.
Okay.
Would there be a commitment from the school's IT staff to maintain something like this?
Great question. I'm so glad you asked. This is not an IT lift. The only time we deal with IT is if we need to whitelist, which we will always need to do during an implementation, or if we're going to plug into the school's LDAP. Other than that, unless the school decides to appoint IT as the network administrators, which usually it does not, it usually falls to student affairs or some other department, then we wouldn't be doing a whole lot of business together. So, which is nice. IT departments like it. And of course it is, I should point out that it is 100% hosted. It is software as a service. Your school will not need to buy any servers. There's never any software to download. It's an all-you-can-eat option as well with data. So you can have unlimited users, unlimited groups, and share unlimited data over your network. And it's all included in your cost. And there's no charge for setup or implementation. It's all included.
Can you do like a webinar, like you got a group of folks together?
Of course. Be happy to do that, and we can set it up. We can set up a conference bridge and a web-based demo. Everyone can log in remotely. It'd be great to do that, and happy to set something up for you as soon as this week. So just out of curiosity and being mindful of the time here, just to get a feel for where all of the schools are as far as their social media presences go, and this is a very scientific way of going about it. How many of the schools represented here have a centralized social media presence, just by a show of hands? Okay. Okay, great. And to the rest, I imagine it's kind of decentralized? Is it more of a decentralized approach by department? Okay, great. And just from what you've seen today, and from what you've heard from Martha, and seeing over at Schenectady, how useful do you believe this would be? I mean, who thinks there would be a real utility and a real value that we could bring to their schools in multiple departments? Okay, great. Great, good to know. All right, great. Well, let's see.
If I could, one of the things that you see on this sheet is that we've worked with Martha to develop some special pricing for CCSAO, obviously, which will kind of decrease as we talk to more of you throughout November and do the webinars, etc. So, Chris, I think you briefly addressed that, but I just wanted to call it out as well on the sheet.
Sure, and I can actually, in the group to which you all have been added, the CCSAO group, which you will all be added by the end of today's meeting, you'll receive that update. I have all of the files added here as well. So if you wanted to share this, if you wanted to invite other people from your organization to check it out, they can actually see all the files you have before you in a electronic format. And we actually included a case study in there from Schenectady. We also have the member pricing. and another document that outlines the value by various departments. It is an enterprise-wide application, so I think it could drive a lot of value across the board. Love to dive any deeper. Are there any additional questions?
Chris, if anybody in this room wishes to follow what we're doing on Schenectady, I have no problem. I was just mentioning Monroe, we gave access, their IT department is interested in this, and so we gave them full access. I don't mind if you want to, on your own, decide to add people to what our students are doing.
I would appreciate that also.
How do you do that?
I guess just notify.
We can actually add you to it. In addition to adding to the Schenectady network, we'll also add you. We can also add you to this one that we've created specific to this purpose. So more than welcome to try out either one. And Martha, that's thank you very much for.
And then on your front page, it shows you all the institutions that you're working with. This could really be a neat thing for community colleges in New York State. You have a couple of schools in Pennsylvania that you're working with, but on your homepage at least.
Well, also, they mentioned Frostburg. I don't know if you folks know the president of Frostburg is John Gibraltar, who was the president of Farmingdale and worked at Morrisville and was the academic VP at Harding for a while.
Oh, I didn't
So
know that.
he's now president of Frostburg.
Yeah, they're active in that.
This actually went to the president's office for final approval because of they were doing a lot of things, and he was very gung-ho about it. So I'm glad you said that. That's
Yeah, we
great.
could be making a leap. I think the only SUNY school right now that you have on is Oneonta. Am I correct in saying that, or have you added others since I?
Actually, right now in SUNY, the only represented school as of right now is Schenectady, but
Schenectady, okay.
we're looking to change that.
Martha, I guess I am trying to kind of understand the relationship of IT and the efforts that our IT is making to work on portals and the student email system and all the direction, the energy they're putting into doing similar things. And what has been the reaction on campus? Does that allow IT then to pull back and say, oh, good, this is working well, so we don't have to do quite as much
You know what it's
effort
doing?
program?
It's freeing up our email. We were having a problem with our server hosting too much stuff back and forth on the email, so it's freed up some email. It's taken very little to no effort of our IT department. I think all they had to do was post some things on our web pages, the little icon for Regroup, and then they provided Regroup with our batch system of all of our students. We actually went live, I think August 1st we started with you, and we had just finished an orientation program, and we did a batch of all our incoming students, and we were a way to communicate with our freshman class coming in, and then we did a batch of all of our returning students in there. So on the SEC site, I have a group that says all students, and then I have one that says emergency management, which is a little bit more extensive. Faculty and staff are signing up for that emergency management one as well, because I didn't do a batch of faculty. I made it very clear to the employees, if you want to be a part of this, sign up on your own. I am not doing that, but I did do a batch of all the students. So it's very little effort for the IT department. These guys do everything.
And they see it as really enhancing their mission or making their jobs easier.
Much easier,
Yeah.
much easier. It's freed up the problem we were having with email on campus. As a matter of fact, we didn't offer email to all students. We didn't have the capacity 2 years ago. Then last year we said, let's try and give email out to all students. We gave it out, and then it was a nightmare. And this is our way of pulling back instead of.
Yeah, you have to change password dates and all that.
Yep.
And it's a great way Schenectady's done a lot with their alum base. It's a great way for an alumni affairs effort to manage that transition. And this is something schools always have a problem doing. Manage that transition of your students being students, becoming professionals, and moving on in their careers. The more the longer you can stay in touch with them, and the quicker you can have all of their information available to keep in touch with them, the better off you're going to be. And like I said, addresses will change, telephone numbers will change, a lot will change, and social media habits will stay the same. And to that end, we do have a LinkedIn functionality on the horizon for Q1 as well, which is really going to help departments like Alumni Affairs manage that. Are there any additional questions? This is great. The pricing you have in front of you, I believe, is good until the end of November. Our contact information is in there. Please feel free to reach out anytime. Happy to set up, a webinar, and we're a call or a click away. You can also engage us right from the site. Martha had mentioned the chat functionality right on the front page before you log in. Chat with us, click that, and we're instantly available as well.